All right, welcome into week 3 now of the Coach Mark Schmidt Show. Coach, you're comfortable now? You feel good? The camera's like your friend now, week 3. Week 2 was a little rough. Week 1 was crazy.
Matt,
week 3, you're good now.
I'm never going to be comfortable. So I don't care what you say. Don't ever take me for granted.
I got you. I got you.
This is new territory.
Sure.
Treading lightly.
Yeah, well, new territory was not this week for the Redskins. Last week, a 44-0 win over Hatboro Horsham. The week earlier, a 24-0 win over the Northeast Vikings. Now 2-0 in the season, outscoring opponents 68-0 the first 2 games. And all those stats are great, and I'm sure you're loving them, throwing them out there. And we're going to recap the game on Friday against Hatboro Horsham, and then preview a big game this Friday. First, the home opener here at Heartbreak Ridge against Satterton. Always a good game, year in and year out. But we're going to go back to Friday, when it was a great game up at Hatboro, their brand new turf. Second straight week, the Chamois played on a turf field. And offensively, you talked going into that game, you wanted a cleaner game. It seemed at least from my vantage point, it was much clearer than week 1.
Yeah, it was. I was happy that we had a little more purpose coming off the ball. And a lot less anxiety opening. A lot of guys, we were way too nervous on the opener, and it showed. Very inconsistent. This week I was happy with the fact of our start. We kind of took advantage of some things and moved the ball pretty well. We're still, not where I want it to be, not even close. But I was happy with our execution. We did a few things, moving the ball around to certain people, and we were able to get the ball out to the people we wanted to hit, and create some big plays and give some guys some confidence, and we did that. And once again, our defense just came in and from beginning to end, just really played on point. Did a great job.
Justin Andrews was limited to only 1 catch and 1 run against Northeast week 1. One was for a touchdown, obviously. Was it big week 2 to kind of get him involved more in the offense, get the ball in his hands? Because we saw week 2, right. If he is, he's a very electrifying player.
Well, he's a special player that way. And the biggest issue with week 1 was getting him involved to add stability. We had new guys in every other position, and Justin was a guy that we kind of made sure we, kind of kept the ship going a little bit. Second week, we had to kind of get him the ball, turn him loose, and all that sort of thing. And he didn't disappoint. He made a couple real nice catches and runs, made a nice run, and then threw the pass. So he's dangerous. He's athletic. He's a guy that that knows what to do. We practiced his package, and he's really taken to that very well.
33-0, Nishami led Hatboro at halftime, a game that was, for the most part, never really in doubt. I want to ask you, is it harder for you as a coach to kind of gauge the players in a game like that, to where there's so many guys coming in and out? Is it harder for you as a coach to manage a game like that rather than a close game, maybe?
Well, yes and no. I mean, obviously, you have the fact that the game is in hand feeling, which is nice. But then also you want to make sure everybody plays. And you want to make sure that when they play, they do a good job. And put them in a position where they can succeed. Not put them in a position where we don't disrespect our opponent by being ahead, and those sort of things. And so you try to the playing time's great. You want to make you don't never want to forget 1 or 2 guys from the sidelines when the game's over. I mean that's almost as bad as a loss, and because it's a lousy feeling, and we didn't do that. I mean, every guy that came with it, we took 65 guys with us, and all 65 were able to get out there. Which, on the other side, though, Matt, that's a little bit of a worry. We haven't played a full game yet, and this week there's no doubt we're going to be doing that. And I've let my feelings known to the guys Saturday morning and Monday afternoon, but when we met both times, and that my concern, and we hit conditioning very hard yesterday to really try to get some gas in the tank.
Talk about the opponent this week, Satterton, which we'll talk more about in a few minutes. And once again, this show is being brought to you in part by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County, as well as Peruzzi, Buick, GMC. Coach is very upset because I promised him a hat today. No. He will get one next week. I promise you that. I know. I will get you one. I promise. I'm having a bad hair day too, so we may need it. But going back to that Hatboro game, and we talked about so many guys being in. We talked in the preseason about trying to place that Sean Omer running back position, and Nate Hall has stepped up as the feature back as of right now. But it seems like you have some young guys that want to get some reps.
Yeah, and still have Devin, still have Trokin, but Trokin's going to be. He's been getting more reps on defense. I mean, he's a good defensive back. We didn't have him this summer. He was away with his dad down in North Carolina, so he spends the summers with his dad. So he really lost that 7-on-7 time. So we really knew he was an asset for us defensively. So we kind of took this week to give him more reps over there. And he's a physical presence and added some depth and took a little off Nate because Nate was playing well on offense. So we're kind of still mixing things, but the young guys stepped up. I mean, Matt Cowshaw's a solid runner, but Matt Maggs and DeAndre Pollard are two good sophomores that yesterday had a great day on JV Monday, but didn't disappoint on Friday also. They're talented, and we're looking for them to contribute as we go.
We saw a couple quarterbacks against the Northeast. Hugh Hart was the mainstay last Friday. I know you mentioned you kind of wanted some guy to take over that role as the main quarterback for you, at least for week 3 going in. Is Hugh going to be your guy?
Hugh did a nice job managing the game last week. I was much happier with his with just the way everything went. The huddle, the snap count, the ball handling. Obviously, he completed a couple passes and hit a couple made a couple real nice throws. Guys in process and in progress, moving, and I was happy with that. And he'll be the guy that'll be under center this week. And he's a senior. He understands it. He cares, and the players really like him, and he shoulders a lot of burden. But he answers the bell.
Switch over to the defensive side real fast. I mentioned earlier you outscored opponents 68 to nothing. That 0 is a great thing, but eventually it has to come to an end at some point. How impressed early have you been by a defense that has a lot of young guys, but the front 7, the front 4 really has done a great job for you guys early? Well,
a guy asked me after the game, and what's been the key thing to it, and really the thing that sticks out with our crew is experience and preparation. And a lot of guys are juniors, but a lot of guys started, played the playoff games, played at Pennsbury, played at North Penn, played at Unionville, got a lot of really good quality time in big games as 10th graders. And they're talented. They spent the year in the weight room, and they came back out and then, really just physically took that next step. And then the other part is the job that our coaches do getting them ready. And they really get it. I mean, having Cole Creighton back second year, he's getting guys lined up. He's calling the coverages, and we're lined up when the ball snapped. And we have 2 or 3 guys up front that are all back, that we're calling the strengths and setting the defensive fronts, and they're all back. So Neil French and Jay Weidenbaugh are able to work with both those 2 guys. All those guys that are in those positions, and when we get lined up, and that's the whole defense is big on that. Get lined up, know what we're in, and communicate. And when everybody's on the same page, you can be pretty productive. And it's been that way the last 2 weeks. This week is our biggest test. The wing tee, a lot of shifting, a lot of motion, a lot of unbound, a lot of formation sets, and we jumped right into it yesterday, and those guys didn't let up. They started with they really make it hard on these guys early, and they don't take mistakes too kindly.
Seems like you have a really cerebral bunch of defensive players on your team. Did playing the veer last Friday, is that going to help you with the wing tee a little bit?
It should, Matt. I think so. I think, I don't know what I'll say cerebral. I think the biggest word for these guys is they care.
Sure.
They bought in. I mean, they get it. I mean, they show up to the films. They got their notebooks. They got the notebooks open. They're making their calls. They're writing down notes, and then they're studying. I mean, they want to go out. They want to go out and do well. And we've set the bar very high and very early about what we expect these guys to do, and because there's competition everywhere, and if they want to play, they better answer the bell when it's game time. It doesn't matter what they did last year or last week or yesterday, for that matter. I mean, they better go out and play, and that's our philosophy on both sides of the ball right now, and even on special teams. Some of the guys that I've heard a couple names from Monday, they're going to get a chance this week to go out and win a spot on a special team, because we told them that, and we always want these guys to understand if we say something, they're going to have a chance to do it.
All right, that's our recap from Hatboro in the first 2 weeks of the season. We come back, we're going to preview Satterton, and do the 3 questions with Coach Mark Schmidt here as well.
Do you have 3 questions, Matt?
I have 2 right now.
2?
I'll think of one in the next segment.
Geez.
Once again, the Coach Mark Schmidt Show is brought to you in part by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County, and Peruzzi Buick GMC. We're right back.
Hi, this is Larry at Peruzzi Buick GMC. You'll hit a home run every weekend at Peruzzi Buick GMC Service Department. Every Saturday and Sunday, Peruzzi Buick GMC is offering a standard oil and filter change for just $19.95. And remember, Peruzzi Buick GMC is open every Sunday from 8 to 5. Peruzzi Buick GMC is the home of the $34.95 Pennsylvania State and Emissions Inspection every day of the week. No matter where you purchase your car or truck, you can get it serviced 7 days a week at Peruzzi Buick GMC. And remember, we're open Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Tom from Mooresville says that Aria Health's emergency department saved his life. Recently, while playing golf, Tom experienced cardiac arrest and the ambulance took him to Aria Health's Bucks County campus, where Dr. Emmerich and his team of doctors and nurses took fast action and literally brought Tom back to life. Dr. Emmerich visited Tom frequently, answered all his questions, even gave him his phone number. Led by Dr. Harry Emmerich, the emergency department at Aria Health Bucks County provides 24/7 care in a leading-edge environment. To learn more about Tom's story at Aria Health Bucks County, visit ariahealth.org/Tom. That's ariahealth.org/Tom.
All right, welcome back here to the Coach Mark Schmidt Show here on WBCB1490.com, presented by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County, as well as Peruzzi Buick GMC. Don't forget this Friday, 6:45 kickoff here on WBCB1490.com. We'll have the Chamonix and Saturday. This is the Chamonix home opener this year, and a game, Coach, that now for a couple years has been like an annual continental clash between you and Saturday. Coach Gallagher always brings a good team down here, and it should be a good game on Friday.
No question, Matt. These guys are very physical. They're very big. Front, they're extremely active on defense. They want to create mayhem at the line of scrimmage by folding people under, blitzing late, crashing down, coming over. I mean, they really just want to wreak havoc and then build those walls. And I'm looking at it with a lot of anxiety on offense because we've really got to. I'm happy that we had 2 games under our belt. When we to play them, so we have some experience. But then again, we broke down every blitz and put them all on the computers and such. And they do a lot of things, and they have a couple of very good players that do those things. So on top of the fact that they really get after it, they've got a couple guys that really are just terrific guys.
You talk about so much anxiety you may have for this game, but there's also probably a lot of room for growth. Nothing against Northeast and Hatboro Horsham. Yeah. But when you play a team like Saturday, you're going to get their best effort.
No doubt.
They're going to try to hit you in the mouth, like you said. And to go out with a victory like that is, I think, in my mind, you can agree, a good growth game as well.
Well, it's a big litmus test for us. I mean, we really need to take that step, and we've talked about that. We were happy with our performance. I was very happy from week 1 to week 2. I challenged our guys to, the mark of a good team is how they really take that next step. And then once we got to that step after that Hatboro game, I said, now we're coming to our place. You got a very good team coming down here, wanting to get after us, and we need to get in, start on, feel good about tonight's game tonight, and then come in tomorrow ready to work. And because there's a lot we've got to mentally get squared away, and then get out there physically and get going.
20-13 win last year at Heartbreak Ridge over Saturday was kind of Joe Bianchino's coming out party in the second half at least.
Yeah.
The first half was kind of rough, and you guys, you mentioned after the game, I said, you really kind of stole that one.
Right.
And but it went in the season. How much of a win against Saturday would it mean to your guys going to league play?
Oh, I think it'd be big. I mean, they saw the play. We played Unionville last year,
sure.
So we don't. It's not like I know they're from far away, but we were fortunate enough to play them in the postseason, and we know what kind of football team they are. And they went out in that fourth quarter, and that quarterback we played against last year, he took that team under his wing, and then at the end of the game, he found a way to win it. So it was a jump ball there for the whole game, and I think they're going to really have a bad taste in their mouth, first of all, and I think they know that they really have to come away with a win this week to really kind of get their season back on track, because they've got a tough conference that they play in also, that they better at least come out of this the non-league schedule positive, and we're going to do our best not to let that happen.
You know, Alex Nicholas has been a really interesting guy on defense thus far. The way you guys kind of utilize him, and he's a great story as well. You know, we love talking about him because he's an undersized defensive lineman. So he gives all the young kids growing up something to strive for. How much do you guys try to utilize him on defense for his kind of unique ability?
Well, he's a guy that can certainly create some problems. Wherever he's lining up. If he's lining up in here, chances are he's going to be somewhere else once the ball snaps. So you got to be accountable for him, and he's very disruptive because he's so fast, and he combines that with with great strength. I mean, he's a very strong young man, and his quickness and his strength, and he understands football very well. He recognizes what's happening. So we're really counting on him this week to really get in there and wreak some havoc, and wherever he lines up, somebody, that blocking scheme gets altered.
Offensively, it's mostly been a run-dominated, thus far at least, offense, and part of that maybe because of the score. What's a good ratio for you this week at Saturday, maybe going forward from pass to run? In your mind, really, what's a good pass-to-run ratio?
Well, I think we've got to do a better job getting the ball out. We've got to do some things there because if they feel that we're just trying to run the football, they're going to squeeze down inside, and we've got to take advantage. And that was one of the things that Hatboro was really trying to take away our run game, and they opened up some things outside. We were able to get out on the perimeter a little bit, and then the score did indicate a little bit. I was hoping to maybe throw a little bit more, but the last thing I wanted to do was do anything to an opponent to make it look like we were not playing with class, and so we took the air out of it a little bit and tried to get as many guys in there to run it. But against Souderton, I think we need to probably, I would say, get into that 25-30% range of throwing the football a little bit.
A guy that had rave reviews in training camp and scrimmages as well as part of that receiving corps. We know Justin's a leader on that group, but Hamid Pop is kind of an interesting guy going into the season just because he's a long, kind of agile, athletic receiver. He had a great touchdown catch from Justin Andrews at Hatboro. How much is he going to have to progress quickly, just as a sophomore, really, to kind of solidify this wide receiving corps?
Well, the thing about him was cool was after the game he just had a big smile on his face. Right. I think there was some pressure. I mean, he played in that national championship Pop Warner team and had a really good resume there, and I think he got off to a rough start. He had opportunities that he didn't take advantage of early on in some scrimmages, and it kind of hurt him. And I think he was wrestling with that a little bit in the first week, and second week he went out and caught it, and I think he just feels more relieved now. I think he's more, the guys know that they're happy that he had a good game, and I think he's happy he had a good game, so that he can just relax and play. And we're really hoping that he takes that next step.
We'll finish up with this before the Ask Coach Mark Schmidt segment. I have two questions right now. Hopefully I'll get one more. Guys we haven't been talking about, we mentioned them in the preseason about how it may be a learning curve, is the offensive line. Thus far, in Northeast we had some issues, but in my mind, maybe you can agree with that. They've done a decent job for being some young guys in there. Ian Waterbury leading that group of kind of solidifying and helping that run-first offense right now.
Well, yeah, and I think that was a group that I really targeted all week long about they have to take the next step, and they did. From the tight end position, and even with the fullback involved with our blocking schemes and stuff, they're very much involved in a lot of what we do. That whole crew really took it upon themselves to improve, and I was happy to see, that most of those guys when the play was going on. Everybody was getting covered up, and we were in pretty good position. And if we weren't in good position, we were battling our butt off to just try to maintain and finish. And as opposed to the week before, kind of stepping and not with that confidence and really not finishing much of anything. So, do I give them a much higher grade? Yes. But now they've really got to be able to communicate and come off the ball and not get indecisive and find the person that they're supposed to block and get into them and get seams for us. So, because, these guys bring the kitchen sink. So we've got to get after them and move them out of the way and create some seams for our guys to run or keep them on the line of scrimmage if we're trying to get the ball off. So, this one's a big one. This one that way. So, hey, should be fun.
Well, 6:45 on WBCB, 1490.com. We'll have the Chamonix and Satterton live, played back on 1490 WBCB at 9 p.m. And right now, it's the most important part of the whole show. I get a lot of people saying they fast forward the whole show just to this part. They don't want to hear me and you talk.
A lot of people want.
No.
Me, you, and who?
I don't know, Neil French or something.
Who, really? There's one person that watches this show?
I don't know. But if you have a question, no one's asked me a question yet. I think they're scared.
Please don't.
You get tons of views. Matt with 2 T's at WBCB1490.com. I will ask your question to Coach Mark Schmidt. Call as an alias. I don't care. We won't give your name out. Just whatever question you want, this guy will answer. Question 1 is favorite sports film or movie?
Wow. Remember the Titans. That was pretty cool. That was cool because that was just. It just went really well with us. It opened the year we won the state championship. So it just kind of paralleled a little bit, and I had a real good feeling with the little girl that was the daughter of the coach of Bill Yost, and same age as my daughter, my daughter Erica. So, and she's really into it like that. Sure. She waits up for me. She still waits up now. She's a sophomore, but it was really cool. And that had a lot of parallels. It's a great one. Sure. I mean, there's a lot of good ones. That was a good question. That'd be one of them. I really like Hoosiers. Gene Hackman's a great actor, and the story of what that little high school did and is being true is it was really well portrayed. I thought that was excellent. Shoot.
So Titans it is.
I think those would be the two.
Okay.
I would probably be, and Denzel is excellent.
Okay.
So,
keep on the sports theme questions. Favorite sports-themed literature or book or anything else that kind of inspired you, maybe in coaching or anything else?
Well, geez, I pretty much have read every book there is on Lombardi.
Really?
I just think he's this really incredible human being, and I've read almost everything on Coach Paterno also, and I just think those two guys are special in that regard. But when I was a kid, I read this book at least 3 or 4 times, Ball 4 by Jim Bouton, baseball book. It was excellent, and it was really a well done book, and that's a book that I've always kind of remembered, even growing up, when I try to tell my kids, hey, find a book in the summer. I don't care if it's, assigned. Get a good book and, get some time to sit down on crummy days or whatever and spend a couple hours diving into something that you want to do. So, and I did that. That was kind of neat.
College and pro football is back and well. You watch a lot of college and pro, or
I try to. I enjoy the Saturday night games.
Okay.
Thursday night sometimes I like to watch if it's a good game. I don't like to watch it just to watch football because everything in some of these leagues is that no back, no huddle, spread offense style, and it's great, but it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like watching. I love the SEC, and I'm really liking the way the Big 10's looking, Big 12's looking right now because of some of the teams that are playing there, and they're going back to the 2-back sets. They're going back to the play action pass game. They're going back. I'm a big Harbaugh fan with the way that the Niners are running their offense and such because he utilizes so many different types of formations that with 2-back sets and powering up in there, and it's great to see.
What's your favorite Sunday or Saturday night food? We already talked about you don't eat before games.
No.
If you're sitting around, hanging around, watching football, what's the one thing either the wife can cook up, or you're delivering, or what is it?
Well, we do circle the calendar. If we get home, we bring Primo hoagies home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Mild Italian hoagie. I'm rolling, baby. That and some hers. Ruffled potato chips.
Okay.
I'm good to go.
All right.
Maybe an adult beverage, not too many.
No, 1 or 2, sure.
But I don't drink with my food. I always have water or something like that. So,
all right.
But Primo hoagie, that's over the top for me. I'm good to go.
Sounds good. All right, the Coach Mark Schmidt show is wrapping up once again for week 3. He loves us so much, we might do it every day before games. Maybe Monday through Thursday I'll come here. Friday I'll give you the day off.
Matt, you get a half an hour a week, okay? All right, I got to get back to work.
I hear you.
All right?
I want to thank Coach Mark Schmidt, the entire Neshaminy staff here, for letting us come in and do the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented once again by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County, as well as Peruzzi Buick GMC. So for Matt Mirro, Coach Mark Schmidt, good luck on Friday, Coach. We'll see you next week.
I appreciate it, bud.